Welcome, my friends. I'm glad you're here. As you all love horror stories, today we have a brand new chilling tale. Just put on your headphones and enjoy. Let us begin. The North Atlantic waters were typically calm and serene, but on this fateful night, an eerie presence loomed large upon the endless expanse of the ocean. Deep in the heart of the darkness, a ghostly vessel drifted aimlessly, its sails tattered and its hull weathered by the relentless currents. On board, the air was thick with a palpable sense of dread, as if the very essence of fear had taken up residence within the confines of the ship. The crew, once a hardy and capable lot, had long since succumbed to the malevolent forces that haunted this accursed vessel. Their lifeless bodies now lay scattered throughout the decks, their eyes forever frozen in expressions of pure terror. As the ship drifted on, strange and unsettling occurrences began to manifest. Doors would slam shut on their own, the sound of disembodied footsteps echoed through the empty corridors, and the faint whispers of the damned could be heard in the dead of night. It was as if the very essence of the vessel had become possessed by some ancient and malevolent force, determined to claim the souls of any who dared to set foot upon its accursed deck. Those who had the misfortune of encountering the ghost ship reported seeing the skeletal remains of the crew, their bony fingers clutching rusted cutlasses and their hollow eyes burning with a malevolent light. Some even spoke of hearing the agonized cries of the lost souls, forever trapped within the confines of the vessel, doomed to wander the seas for eternity. As the rumors of the ghost ship's haunting spread, a growing sense of unease began to permeate the coastal towns that dotted the shoreline. Sailors, once bold and fearless, now spoke in hushed whispers of the cursed vessel, their faces etched with a mixture of terror and superstition. One night, a small fishing trawler, captained by a grizzled veteran of the sea, caught sight of the ghostly ship drifting aimlessly in the distance. Compelled by a mix of curiosity and an overwhelming sense of dread, the captain steered his vessel closer, determined to uncover the truth behind the haunting. As they drew nearer, the crew of the trawler could feel the hair on the back of their necks standing on end. The air seemed to grow colder, the very essence of the ocean itself seeming to recoil from the presence of the ghostly vessel. And then, the true horror of the situation became clear. Lining the decks of the ghost ship were the skeletal remains of its former crew, their bony hands grasping rusted cutlasses and their hollow eye sockets seeming to bore into the souls of the terrified fishermen. The captain, his face pale with fear, ordered his crew to turn the trawler around and flee with all haste, but it was already too late. A spectral form, wreathed in a swirling mist, materialized on the deck of the ghost ship, its hollow eyes fixed upon the trawler. With a chilling, otherworldly scream, the entity launched itself towards the fishing vessel, its skeletal hands reaching out to claim the souls of the living. The trawler's engine roared to life, and the crew fought desperately to outrun the ghostly onslaught. But the entity was relentless, its spectral form closing in with each passing moment. As the trawler neared the safety of the shoreline, the captain could see the faces of his crew, contorted with pure terror, their screams piercing the night. In the end, only the captain managed to survive the encounter, his mind forever scarred by the horrors he had witnessed. The ghost ship, it seemed, had once again claimed its victims, its haunting presence a testament to the unimaginable horrors that lurk within the depths of the ocean. The tale of the ghost ship's haunting continued to spread, captivating the imaginations of sailors and landlubbers alike. Some claimed to have seen the vessel drifting aimlessly in the distance, its ghostly outline barely visible against the inky blackness of the night. Others swore they had heard the anguished cries of the damned echoing across the waves. As the legend grew, a young, ambitious historian named Elijah Blackwood became obsessed with uncovering the truth behind the haunting. He pored over old sea logs, maritime records, and obscure historical texts, determined to unravel the mystery of the cursed vessel. Blackwood's research led him to an ancient document that spoke of a fearsome pirate captain known only as the Dread Marauder. According to the text, the marauder had amassed a vast fortune through a ruthless campaign of plunder and pillage, leaving a trail of destruction in his wake. But his greed and thirst for power ultimately proved to be his undoing. One fateful night, the marauder and his crew set sail in search of a legendary treasure, but they were beset by a powerful storm that tore their ship apart. The marauder and his men were dragged into the depths, their souls condemned to wander the oceans for eternity as damned specters. Blackwood's heart raced as he pieced together the chilling details. Could it be that the ghost ship he had heard so much about was the very vessel of the Dread Marauder, doomed to haunt the seas for all time? Driven by a mix of scholarly curiosity and a thirst for adventure, Blackwood set out to confront the haunting head-on. He gathered a small crew of hardy sailors and set sail, determined to uncover the truth behind the ghost ship's legend. As they neared the last known sighting of the vessel, an eerie calm settled over the waters. The crew grew tense, their eyes scanning the horizon for any sign of the ghostly ship. Suddenly, a low, haunting wail pierced the silence, sending chills down their spines. There, in the distance, the outline of the ghost ship began to take form, its tattered sails billowing in the breeze. Blackwood's heart pounded in his chest as he stared into the abyss, his mind racing with questions and trepidation. What terrible secrets did the ghost ship hold? And would Blackwood and his crew have the courage to uncover them, even in the face of the unimaginable horrors that awaited them? As Blackwood's crew drew closer to the ghostly vessel, an oppressive silence settled over the waters. The air grew thick and heavy, as if the very essence of the ocean itself was holding its breath in anticipation of the encounter to come. Blackwood could feel the tension mounting among his crew, their faces etched with a mixture of fear and determination. They knew the risks they were taking, but the allure of unraveling the mystery of the ghost ship was too strong to resist. As they pulled alongside the cursed vessel, the crew couldn't help but be struck by the sheer scale and grandeur of the ship. Its towering masts and weathered hull were a testament to the once formidable power of the Dread Marauder and his crew. Blackwood took a deep breath and stepped onto the deck of the ghost ship, his footsteps echoing eerily across the empty expanse. The air was thick with the stale scent of decay, and the sound of creaking timbers and the lapping of the waves against the hull only served to heighten the sense of unease. Cautiously, Blackwood and his crew began to explore the ship, searching for any clues that might shed light on the nature of the haunting. As they ventured deeper into the vessel, the atmosphere grew increasingly oppressive, and the hairs on the back of their necks stood on end. Suddenly, a piercing scream shattered the silence, and Blackwood whirled around to see one of his crew members being dragged into the shadows by a skeletal, spectral figure. The others watched in horror as the entity's bony fingers wrapped around the man's throat, his eyes bulging with terror. Blackwood and the remaining crew members frantically searched for a way to escape the doomed ship, their hearts pounding in their chests. But as they ran, the ghostly forms of the Dread Marauder's crew emerged from the shadows, their hollow eyes burning with malevolence. The battle that ensued was a desperate and chaotic affair, with the crew members fighting for their lives against the relentless onslaught of the spectral pirates. Blackwood, his own fear momentarily forgotten, rallied his men, urging them to push on and find a way off the cursed vessel. But as they fought their way towards the ship's exit, a new horror began to unfold. The very structure of the ghost ship seemed to shift and contort, as if the vessel itself was alive and possessed by some ancient, malevolent force. Blackwood and his crew found themselves trapped, their escape route cut off by a maze of shifting corridors and collapsing bulkheads. The ghostly pirates closed in, their spectral forms closing in like a noose around their necks. In the end, the fate of Blackwood and his crew remains a mystery, lost to the annals of history. But the legend of the haunting of the ghost ship lives on, a chilling reminder of the unimaginable horrors that lurk within the depths of the sea.